Hey, welcome back, Bushi. Welcome back. Welcome back. Not much here. Just getting ready to check out this new one. I'm excited for this one too. I'm very excited. Just loading in though, there is not a start menu at all. This is it. This is their version of a start menu. So, yeah. Hopefully that's not a sign of things to come, but that is kind of low budget for a start menu. This is the least amount of work possible to create a start menu. So, but I am excited for this one. This one is a bit different as well, as it's not really interactive on the movie part, but it is a game show. We have to vote the contestants off or keep them on the show. That part I have to read. I'll have to check and see. So that way we do understand the voting process. But it is different. It's a different idea, different concept, so I definitely like it. And then there are quite a few more that are similar to game shows, so very, very exciting. The interactive movies and such are a pretty cool idea. Definitely like those. We're gonna see if we can get a few more people in here. Like I said, it is harder with it being Friday night. It's harder to have people in here as they are actually doing real life stuff with probably their significant others. So, but all we need is 3 people. I mean, me and 2 other people works perfect. That gives us 3 people to do voting. So, if we don't have any more in here, that'll be all right. And this one is kind of short. This one looks like the runtime. It depends on the voting system too, but it looks like the runtime on this one is about an hour to 90 minutes. So, rather short one. But I think that's okay. It is about quality over quantity, so. We are going to give everybody just a few more minutes, and then we'll get started. How was your dinner, Yoda? Did you already eat? Hopefully you ate mine too, because I don't think I'm going to be able to get there fast enough to eat it. It was yummy. There you go. Figured it would be. I mean, I'm sure. One, I know you can cook because single people tend to be able to cook better because they have to cook for themselves. So. But it's you, so I expect you to be able to cook anyways. But that's not always the case. I'm not going to lie. I do, or I can recall, probably not the same now, but I do recall, maybe a decade ago having lots of single friends that they couldn't cook. Their version of cooking was a bowl of cereal or microwaving something. So that's not always the case. All right, let's go ahead and read over the plot. This one is called Truth, and it is a game where players act as the judge in a game show where 6 contestants connected to lie detectors compete for $1 million cash prize by answering personal questions truthfully. The player evaluates the contestants' answers, determines who is most deserving, and eliminates one person each round. So we are voting one person off every single round until only one winner remains. The game features multiple endings based on the player's choice and includes diverse, larger-than-life characters like a homeless woman, a goth, and a jock are just basic characters. So this is going to be a lot of fun. Air fryer was amazing. Air fryers are amazing. They are. From freezer to air fryer to table in 15 minutes till thawing necessary. I agree. I air fry everything. So we are going to jump in here, and we're going to rotate through the questions, and everybody's going to get a turn to ask questions. So let's go.
Welcome to Truth, the game show where we award a $1 million prize to the contestant chosen by our audience. We have 6 challengers hooked up to lie detectors, which I'll be monitoring. In every round, we ask each of them 5 questions chosen by our audience. Then we vote one off based on their answers. Let's meet our contestants. Why don't you each tell me a little about yourself?
I'm Joe. I'm 28, and I'm from Philly. Let's go Eagles.
My name is Alexis, and I'm born and raised in Beverly Hills.
My name is Sam. Hello. And I recently moved out here to Hollywood to get into filming.
Let me see if I can turn the volume up. Some of these you actually can't, but let me try to see if I can turn the volume sound up. Yeah, it's actually all the way up on my end. So you might have to, if the volume is low, you might have to turn it up on your end. I'm sorry. Unfortunately, yeah, there's no volume control. And then on my PlayStation and on the console, it's as loud as possibly can be. So definitely wish I could turn it up louder. Unfortunately, you might have to crank your TV up just a little bit. I'll try to keep my my volume down on the microphone down some. So let me turn down my mic. All right. So my microphone, I'm going to turn it down so that way it sounds not as loud, but that way everybody else sounds louder. Let's see if that helps.
Industry, and I've been writing a long time before I even got to town, and I've got a lot of scripts. I'm willing to show them. Hit me up. And I'm very excited to be on the show.
I'm Autumn. I'm a California native, and I grew up right here in Los Angeles.
Hi, I'm Claire. I've never been on TV before. I'm so excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
I go by Lilith, and I'm from Van Nuys, California.
Let's see what the audience wants to ask first.
All right, that is an interesting set of characters. Let's start with you, Bushi. Bushi, let me know what question you want to ask this first guy. I think his name is Joe, but so there's the questions on the screen. And just let me know which one you want to ask first, and then I'll ask that question first. I think that's probably the easiest way to go, and then we'll just go down the list, and then you can ask the next question. Very interesting. I'm kind of curious. Wow, there's a lot of questions. Holy crap. Okay, so we're going to do this then, because there is a lot of questions. We're going to go through and I'll start reading. What's your most embarrassing guilty pleasure? I like it. We'll start with that, and then I will read through the rest of them. So let's ask this question first.
What is your most embarrassing guilty pleasure?
I love bad movies. Movies that are so bad that then they're good. Because it's just like so entertaining how bad they are. Like Sharknado. That shit sucks, but it's good, Or like, what does the fox say? Oh, that's a song, but it's so bad that I like that song, Stuff like that. Bad things become good things for me.
All right. Yoda, you're next. So let me start. I'll just read out the questions too. What would you do with the money? What's your most embarrassing memory? What's your most controversial unpopular opinion? What's your biggest regret? What's the dumbest thing you ever did? What's the worst way? Yeah, he said Sharknado. What's the worst way you betrayed a friend? What's your favorite holiday? Ask the trolley problem. I don't know what that one is, but have you ever cheated on anyone? What's the most serious law you've ever broken? What's your most unusual talent? Describe a typical day in your life. What's your most unusual pet peeve? What's your happiest memory? What's your proudest accomplishment? If you found a wallet, would you return it? What were you like as a child? What do you do for a living? Who would you want to be stranded on an island with? If you could have any job, what would it be? What was your childhood dream? What is your biggest fear? What advice would you give your younger self? If you could have any superpower, what would you choose? So that is the remaining questions on the list. There's a lot. Wow, this is really in depth for the questions you can ask. But we'll let Yoda go next, and then whoever else joins the chat, we will let them ask questions as well. As we try to vote off one person, somebody's lying, somebody's just not genuine. But I believe this guy. He looks like one of those guys who likes Sharknado. Yoda, you over there writing a book, trying to figure out what you want to ask this guy? Ah, you just looked up the trolley problem. Worst way you betrayed a friend. Let's go with that one. You had to look up the trolley problem, huh? What's the worst way you betrayed a friend?
What is the worst way you've betrayed a friend?
Oh man, dude. For years, my friend John used to sell my friend Keith weed, but it wasn't weed, it was kale. Like, he would sell him kale instead of weed. And yeah, Keith didn't know. Like, for years, I was watching Keith, like, pack bongs with kale, and that wasn't working. So then he would, like, make kale brownies, and he had no idea. And yeah, I should have told him, but it was just too funny.
That's hilarious. What a horrible friend. What a horrible friend. Back to Bushi. What would you like to ask our friend? Well, he's definitely not our friend. I'm not sure. Not sure about this guy yet. But I think his name is Joe. What would you like to ask Joe here? But at least you know what the trolley problem is, so. He does have 5 total questions, so. What would you do with the money? All right.
What would you do with the money?
Well, my ex-wife would probably get most of it. She's supposed to get half my income, but the judge hates me, so she always gets the bigger half. But if I got money, I'd pay off my credit cards, finish paying off my bike, and finally have some money in the bank for once. That'd be nice.
All right, Yoda, your turn. And I might ask the 5th question as the final one, so. This guy's not that interesting, I'm not going to lie. I don't think he's lying, though. I don't know if I'd vote him off. He doesn't stick out at all. But he doesn't feel like he's lying, so. Serious law you've broken.
What is the most serious law you've ever broken?
I used to shoplift as a kid. I also used to do a ton of underage drinking. I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know which one's worse, but whichever one's worse, I guess, would be my answer.
All right, so I think I'm going to ask the last question, and I think the way we're going to find out who this guy is let's ask him about the wallet question. Let's see if this guy would be honest and return a wallet.
If you found a wallet, would you return it?
I mean, if there was cash in the wallet, I'd keep that. You know, finders keepers. But yeah, I'd return the wallet. I've actually heard if you put a rubber band around the wallet and drop it in the mailbox, the post office will return it. I don't know if that's true, but yeah, that's what I
Oh, there you go. So he would absolutely keep the wallet. That's funny. So we did ask him 5 questions. Do we get any more? Okay. So we've asked 5 questions for this guy here. Let's move on to her. And it looks like Bushi, you're up to ask questions for her. And it's all the same questions, so. Which is kind of neat. I guess you could ask different questions for everybody, or you could ask them the same. What's the dumbest thing you ever did? There you go.
What is the dumbest thing you ever did?
I once bought this outfit and I posted on Instagram #newoutfit. What I didn't realize is that I posted in the same exact outfit that I bought a few months earlier. People thought I was lying, but I just forgot that I bought the same outfit. People still bring it up in the comments to this day.
Well then. I'm already saying let's vote her off. I don't know what it is. She's got to go if that's the dumbest thing she's ever done. Yoda, what you got? I have a feeling it's just going to get dumber. Get her out of here. Yeah, let's get her out of here. What would you do with the money? This ought to be interesting for sure.
What would you do with the money?
Oh, I have a financial advisor that handles my money for me. My parents use them. They're really good.
Oh my gosh. Back to Bushi. Yeah. So non-answers. What do you mean non-answers? Ask the trolley problem. Will do. What is the trolley problem?
You're the conductor on a runaway trolley. There are 5 people ahead of you on the tracks who do not have time to get off the tracks. If you continue forward, you will run over all 5 and they will die. You cannot stop the trolley, but you can change to an alternate track where there is only 1 person on it. If you choose to change tracks, the 5 people on the first track will live, but the 1 person on the alternate track will be run over and die. Do you change tracks?
I don't know anything about trolleys, but if I had a job driving one, I'm sure that they would teach me how to handle that situation in trolley school.
Well, oh my gosh. She said her financial advice. Yeah, non-answer because her brain can't process answers. I'm pretty sure of that. We just learned that on the trolley problem question. That was a good one. I'm glad you looked that up. Otherwise, we would have never known what that is. So that's hilarious. Yoda, what do you got? I have a feeling she's going to be the first one out. I don't think you can get any worse than her. I was going to say better, but definitely worse. That was definitely a non-answer. She said that trolley school would help her out. Yeah, so good luck to her in trolley school. Maybe she'll get her education and get her certificate of trolley school. Scroll, you don't want to hear any of her answers. Yeah, no problem. Let's go back down and I'll read the questions out again. If you could have any superpower, what would you choose? Oh, that might be a new one too. I think there is some new ones. What advice would you give your younger self? What is your biggest fear? What was your childhood dream? If you could have any job, what would it be? Who would you want to be stranded on an island with? What do you do for a living? What were you like as a child? Biggest fear. Her biggest fear would probably be getting the brain. Let's see if I'm right.
What is your biggest fear?
Getting a pimple. I've known people who have had one and they say it's awful. That's why I do a strict regimen of cleansing, toning, and moisturizing to make sure I don't get one. I heard it can happen to anyone.
Very interesting. That is crazy. Not being a social influencer. Oh my gosh. Goodbye. Yeah, she's definitely getting voted off. I don't think anybody. It's tough at this point. I'm just gonna ask her. Let's go with her most unusual talent. You are the weakest link. Goodbye. She definitely is.
What is your most unusual talent?
I'm a really good cook. If I had to live in the old days where people had to cook their own meals, I could buy just fine.
Oh boy. All right, we are on to the next. Let's talk to this guy here. And Bushy, you're a liar. I believe she'd fix a bowl of cereal, 100%. I do believe she'd fix a bowl of cereal. She'd probably put the milk in first and then the cereal. What do you think? She'd do it backwards. Milk first, then cereal. Somehow I doubt that. Bushi, it is your turn. Let's ask the guy with the pie shirt on. He looks like he might be pretty smart, so we might actually have somebody in here that is not boring for once. Highly doubt it, though. The trolley problem, that is my favorite question, though. You can truly see how these people are. What superpower? Let's see, that one was close to the bottom, wasn't it? Yeah. Let's go down here and see. Yep, if you could have any superpower, what would you choose?
If you could have any superpower, what would you choose?
Any superpower? You know, I'd have to go with Mr. Mixelplix's magic. Now, it might be a deep cut for some people. He's great. He's an imp from the fifth dimension, DC Comics, and he's part of the Rogues Gallery of Superman. And if you can mess with Superman, you've got some powers. And I just like that he's wily and weird. But his one weakness is he can wind up in prison in the fifth dimension if he says his own name backwards. But come to think of it, I've never said my own name backwards, so yeah, should be fine. Yeah, let's definitely go with Mixelplix.
Oh, goodness. What a crazy superpower to have. If you say your name backwards, you wind up in another dimension. On top of that, in prison. So, don't know what's wrong with him. Yoda, you are up. This guy is, he's definitely a weird one, too. There is some characters in this game, that is for sure. Yeah, it is so hard. If the blonde wasn't the worst... Oh, no problem. Your brain isn't retaining questions. That is quite all right. No worries at all. Let's start at the bottom. There are a lot of questions for sure. What advice would you give your younger self? What is your biggest fear? What was your childhood dream? If you could have any job, what would it be? Who would you be stranded on an island with? What do you do for a living? What were you like as a child? If you found a wallet, would you return it? What's your proudest accomplishment? What's your happiest memory? What's your most unusual pet peeve? Describe a typical day in your life. What's your most unusual talent? What's the most serious law you've ever broken? Have you ever cheated on anyone? Ask the trolley problem. What's your favorite holiday? Unusual pet peeve.
What is your most unusual pet peeve?
My most unusual pet peeve would be when I'm watching either a superhero show or a movie or maybe something about a crime fighter, they're always using their superpowers. They are always fighting crime. Time out. let's see a little bit of the rest of their day-to-day. Because in real life, like, if you're, like, let's say your job is you're in the FBI. You're not always in the FBI. You go home and you're with your wife and kids, or you go to the movies, or you eat a burrito. I want to see that. Batman. Okay, you're fighting crime at night, usually. What about during the day? What about when you have to go into Wayne Enterprises? Let's see a whole Batman movie that's just about Bruce Wayne in board meetings, signing checks, looking over the budget. He's a billionaire. Like, that's a lot of responsibilities and a lot of checks to sign. That could be a whole... How about Dark Knight rises from bed and goes into work? That's what I'm interested in. It's a pet peeve that they're only superheroing around. Yes, that's part of it, but give us a three-dimensional picture. Like Michael Knight, the Knight Rider, and Kit. Kit is a talking car, and that's pretty cool. I want to see Kit, but Michael Knight has to take Kit in for an oil change sometime. Kit has to go into the shop, get the transmission fixed. That episode, Michael Knight takes the bus to solve crime.
The guy has valid points. I'm not going to lie. I actually think those are pretty valid. I'm on the same page as him. That's very true. Superheroes can't be superheroing all day. All right. Bushi, you are up. That is pretty funny though. Not gonna lie. Yeah, typical day in your life. Let's see if I can find that one. This ought to be good. Yeah, he's definitely gonna have a rant for this one.
Describe a typical day in your life.
Well, usually my day is going to revolve around what I'm watching and what games I'm playing. So, work aside, when I have free time, I'm going to be binging something, and just got done with The Last of Us, binged The Mandalorian, currently watching The Winchesters, and then I'm going to play video games, gaming, a lot of RPGs, and I am immersed in that world. I take gaming very seriously. Oh, and one more thing I take very seriously, snacking. I will always have some snacks on standby and some beverages, and I like playing with snack beverage combos. Yeah, that's pretty important. That's my day.
Yeah, I like this guy. He definitely plays hypermarket. I'm pretty sure he does. He's definitely in the Croissant Games Discord. I truly believe this person is in the Discord. We need to try to find them and figure out who it is. Oh, that's funny. All right, Yoda, your turn. One of us. It could be. It definitely could be one of us. There is somebody in the Discord that this person is in there for sure. We just don't know that they're famous in there in a video game. Yoda, it is your turn. That is crazy. This guy is definitely one of us. He loves his snacks and his video games. See if I can't scroll down to give you some of the options. Wallet. Let's do the wallet question. It's always a good one.
If you found a wallet, would you return it?
Okay. So if I found the wallet, the question of whether or not I'd return it depends. Now, if it was a one percenter, a wealthy individual, and that wallet was filled with money, I might take the money and return the wallet anonymously. If it was seemingly like just a regular person, regular working stiff, then I think I'd just return the whole thing. But if it was a Gucci wallet with gold around the sides, black card, the whole nine,
Oh my God, this guy here, he's funny. He's definitely funny. I am going to ask him the trolley problem.
You're the conductor on a runaway trolley. There are 5 people on the tracks ahead of you who cannot get off the tracks in time. If you continue forward, you will run over and kill all 5. You cannot stop the trolley, but you can change to an alternate track where there is only 1 person on it. If you change tracks, the 5 people on the first track will live, but the person on the alternate track will be run over and die. Do you change tracks?
this is just basic logic. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few or the one. So I would change tracks to kill 1 instead of 5.
My guy, that was definitely the smartest answer. So far, that's my favorite guy. Let's move on to the next person. Bushi, you're up. We have, I cannot think of her name at all, but I'm sure we're going to hear it again. Let's see what the red-haired lady has to say. Hopefully she's a little bit smarter than the blonde lady. Most controversial or unpopular opinion. Let's find that. We will ask her that one. There we go.
What is your most controversial or unpopular opinion?
Owning pets is wrong and should be illegal.
Boo.
If your dog or cat isn't free to come and go as they please, they're not your pet, they're your prisoner.
Not the worst take. I don't know. I mean, it was controversial, right? So she gave us her honest opinion. Yoda, you are up. So that's very valid. I can see kind of where she's coming from. Embarrassing moment. There. Embarrassing memory. There we go.
What is your most embarrassing memory?
I came across a small group of people protesting outside a chemical plant, and I got excited, and I called all of my friends, and we all joined in to show our support. Chemical plants are always terrible for the environment, so we were more than happy to be a part of the protest. But as it turned out, it wasn't a protest at all. It was a picket line. The plant was temporarily shut down while all the workers were on strike, and all of this extra people showing up helped convince management to give in to their demands and end the strike. We were trying to get the place shut down, but instead we got them to reopen it earlier than they otherwise would have.
That is a television episode of something. I'm pretty sure that should be a TV episode. I'd watch it. It definitely sounds like something you'd see only on TV. Oops. Yeah. Very bright. Very, very bright. She was on the wrong side of that picket fence. That is hilarious. Bushi, it is your turn to ask the question. Have you ever cheated on anyone?
Have you ever cheated on anyone?
Yes and no. Not really. I don't believe in monogamy. I would never have a one-on-one relationship. I do mess around with multiple partners. But they all know that we're in an open relationship, so it's not cheating. They're all allowed to have multiple partners too, and most of them do. Even saying that they're allowed to have multiple partners sounds wrong to me. I just don't understand monogamy. How can you tell another person they aren't allowed to do things that make them happy? That just seems so controlling to me. I could never do that to someone, or let someone do that to me.
All right. Moving on. Yoda, it is your question here. We've got ourselves a free one. She does her own thing. Dumbest thing you ever did.
What is the dumbest thing you ever did?
We heard they were going to cut down a huge area of forest, so about 20 of us went out there the night before to protest. We chained ourselves to trees so they'd have to delay their logging until they could get rid of us. Only we were in the wrong place. They were logging about a half a mile away, so no one knew we were there for almost a week. By the time someone found us, we were out of food and water, and we thought we were going to die. The guy who found us went to ask the loggers for help, and they had to cut down the trees we were chained to in order to free us. All we accomplished was getting an extra 20 trees cut down and almost dying in the process.
I'm pretty sure she needs to be in a TV show. Yeah, she absolutely does. And just because of how funny her answers have been, I'm going to change the answer the question I was going to ask her. She's hilarious. So we're going to find something to see. Let's ask about her serious law that she's broken. It has to be something crazy.
What is the most serious law you have ever broken?
I smoked a lot of weed in states where it wasn't legal yet. I guess I've technically sold it too, which would be a more serious crime. I was never a drug dealer, but if I bought a bunch and then some of my friends bought off of me, I guess that's technically selling drugs, even if I'm not charging them a markup. In terms of legal penalties, that would be the most serious. The penalties for drug-related charges are ridiculous in this country.
We have ourselves a dealer, and she could have used that wiki to mark her prices up, Yoda. I cannot believe you didn't hook her up with the wiki. She could have used that 12% markup. We're moving on to whoever this person is. I am not sure. Forgot her name already. So, Bushi, you're up. Maybe this one's not a dealer that changed herself to trees. Yeah, that lady, she needs to be on a show, for sure. Pretty basic setup, pretty basic screens. Oh, what's your favorite holiday? Let's see what she says.
What's your favorite holiday?
Oh, well, that's easy. It's Thanksgiving. You know, when you're homeless like I am, it's really hard to find places to sleep. On Thanksgiving, I can sleep in front of any storefront, entrance, window, and everyone just thinks I'm queuing for the Black Friday sales, and I get left alone. It's pure bliss and just warms my heart every Thanksgiving.
Well, did not expect that one at all. Yoda, it is your turn. And I think that would be quite opposite, though. Sleeping in front of a store where there's lots and lots of people, it might become I don't know. I think that'd be quite an annoyance, especially if you're trying to sleep with a lot of people around. Oh, we're already at the top. She's right. You've done it. Just saying. I couldn't. For some reason, I just think I would be too claustrophobic with too many people around. I'd be scared that somebody be trying to hurt me or something. I don't know. Stranded on an island. There we go.
If you were going to be stranded on an island with one person of your choosing, who would it be?
Is it okay to say myself? Pick myself? Because that one time that I was stranded on a deserted island before, it was just me and I got used to it. I mean, when I say deserted island, it was more like one of those floating garbage piles that gather together in the ocean that Greenpeace hate. Anyway, I'd still choose me.
I mean, that makes sense. Very true. Yeah, she's definitely down to earth. And I don't know, that is a good question. If you had to choose somebody or be stranded on an island, I think maybe being stranded on an island by myself, that's not a bad idea. You're right. She is definitely a good one. Bushy, it is your turn. I want to start calling you Boo, but I just know that, I don't know if me calling you Boo is going to be the right nickname. Could say you're my Boo. What advice would you give your younger self? One less person to look after your feet. That is very true.
What advice would you give to your younger self?
Oh, I would tell my younger self to stay away from drugs. I did far too many pharmaceutical studies. I was warned, don't do more than one at the same time, but the money was so good. I got greedy and I signed up for 18. Most of the horrific side effects have faded over time. However, I still get terrible hallucinations when I pee, and it hurts real bad to my left eye when I blink.
Finally have someone to call. Hey, I get to call Boo. That's my Boo and not you, Yoda. I'm sorry. You can call Yoda, you can call me Boo, but you can't call Bushi Boo. That's my Boo. And in fact, it is your turn, Yoda. What is your question? She's had a rough life. She definitely has. Yeah, definitely like her. Oh, why are we going over to her? Let's go back over here to I can't think of her name. I'm pretty sure it was Claire. It might not be Claire. I tried to remember the names, but your brain just melted. Give you a minute. All right. You got 60 seconds to come up with a question there. We got some biggest regret. There you go. That was quick.
What's your biggest regret?
Well, that's easy. That would be the fishing trip I took my daughter Mallory on 20 years ago. Well, obviously I couldn't afford a boat. So we borrowed 2 floating pool chairs and off we went out into the ocean. It was a beautiful day. Unfortunately, I got caught in an undercurrent and I was swept off to a desert island. I saw she made it back to shore. It took me so long to get off the desert island that by the time I got home, she'd moved on and I've not been able to find her since.
All right. I hate to say it, but I'm calling BS and lies on this one. She might not be lying, but I think she's lying because you can lie your way to win the money. So that is what this is based on. I think she's lying. So I am now going to ask her a question. Yeah, that was BS to you too, huh? Yeah. I think she's lying. She had me at first, but I think she's lying now. So we're going to try to find something to see if she's truthful or not. Let's what could set her up? I don't know what we could ask her to set her up. Let's ask about a day typical inter. Well, I don't know. I think she's lying. Let's try this one. See what she does for a living.
What do you do for a living?
Well, I sold furniture for a while. Then I ran out of furniture. Then I sold shoes for a while. Ran into a similar problem. Now I'm unemployed.
I just don't believe it. I do not believe her. That is my biggest question mark right now, is her on her lying. So let's go into the next one. It is now Boo's turn. It is my Boo's turn. Let's see what question that we get from Boo. This one is going to be out there. I can already tell. I had to hold in my laughter when I saw her character. And let's see if it gets any better. Her music by itself is just, yeah. Her music's out there too, so they definitely were out of line when they made her. What would you do with the money?
What would you do with the money?
I'd start my own cult.
I knew it. She's out of here.
Dedicated to summoning Cthulhu and bringing about the end of days.
She's gone. All right, yep, she's gone. Yoda, what do you got for the old cultist queen over here? I cannot believe that. She went straight for the cult. She didn't help herself out at all. She ain't trying to win the money. Biggest regret, probably becoming a cult leader.
What is your biggest regret?
That's easy. There are many people I've encountered in my life who I didn't kill, even though they clearly deserved it. And now it's too late. I wouldn't even know where to find them.
Yeah, she's out of here. It is your question, Boo. Yeah, she's got more pressing issues. Even if she won the money, she wouldn't get to spend it. She's probably got warrants. The police are definitely looking for her. I'm pretty sure she has a Netflix special or a documentary out. Trolley Problem. That's a good one. She'd probably kill everybody. She'd probably just figure out a way to make everybody tied to the same track.
You're the conductor on a runaway trolley. There are 5 people on the tracks ahead of you who cannot get off the tracks in time. If you continue forward, you will run over and kill all 5. You cannot stop the trolley, but you can change to an alternate track where there is only 1 person on it. If you decide to change tracks, all 5 people on the original track will live, but the person on the alternate track will be run over and die. Do you change tracks?
So if I stay on the first track, I get to kill 5 people without the possibility of getting in any trouble whatsoever. But if I change tracks, I only get to kill 1, and there's a possibility that I go to prison. Why would I possibly change tracks? Is this a trick question? Is there a way to kill all 6?
I told you.
If there is, I don't see it. I'd stay on the first track and settle for 5.
I knew it. She added in that stuff. Like, nobody said anything about prison or being in trouble. And she just added that in there. She said, if I change it to 1, I'm going to prison, right? Yoda, it is your turn. Yeah, she's got my vote. The blonde might survive another round. This one here, she's out of here. Serious law you've ever broken. This will be a good one for sure.
What's the most serious law you have ever broken?
See, the problem with that question is that You need to be caught, tried and convicted, for you to be breaking the law. Now say I shoot someone. Was it self-defense? Was it manslaughter? Was it murder? Until it gets in front of a jury, we just don't know. And I'm not dumb enough to get caught and have to be put in front of a jury.
Oh yeah, she's definitely killed somebody. Yeah, we've got to find something. I'm pretty sure. Let's just ask her what her most controversial, unpopular opinion is.
What is your most controversial or unpopular opinion?
I believe that we should bring back public execution. We're already executing people in 27 states. Why not sell tickets? I know some people really hate the death penalty, but they should love this idea. Executing these prisoners in private only helps the masses not to think about it. Making it public will bring attention to it. And it gives the rest of us something to do.
That's the end of this round. We'll soon find out who will be going home after this message from our sponsor. Today's episode is brought to you by Rebecca Cartwright. Have you been injured in an automobile accident or hurt on the job? Has your case already been settled and you've been awarded a large sum of money? Call Rebecca Cartwright, 555-1258. Rebecca is 25, single, and looking for a long-lasting relationship.
Oh, that's funny.
Now it's time for the audience to vote. Please enter the selection of the contestant you think should be going home.
All right. Okay. So the way we're going to do this, everybody, there's only 3 of us in here. So the chances of us picking the same person to go home might be slim to none. So what I want you two to do, I want you to vote for the top 3 that you think should go home. And do it in order. So like if you think number 1 should go home, put that person, then your second, then your third. And then we're going to tally up the votes that way. So you guys lock in 3 votes, 3 people you think should go home. The one that has the most votes will be the one that we're sending home, and I'm actually going to text mine in there too. So we do have Joe, Alexis, Sam, Autumn, Claire, and Lilith. So if you need, I'll scroll through the names again, but that's who we have. So I'm going to type in mine too. And then if you guys need, we can go back over the pictures in the name as well. But whenever you guys are ready, we will do the votes. And we'll see who the common denominator is. And if we have a tie, then we'll obviously discuss who we think should go home. Very tough, though. You got Joe, Alexis, Sam, Autumn, Claire, and, of course, Lilith. All right, we're going to wait on Yoda's, and then I'll hit enter on mine, as mine are in order, too, so... So we do have an Alexis, Claire, and a Lilith on your end. And Yoda's going to think about it. She absolutely has got to think about this one. Lilith, Alexis, and that close. The third one's the toughest. Third one is the toughest for sure. Joe. Okay. There are my top 3. So it looks like Lilith did get 2 first place votes. So Lilith is out of here. Alexis could have. If you would have voted Alexis, she could have gone home. His ex-wife will get it. Well, it looks like Lilith is the first one to be removed. So we will wish her well and good luck in prison because she will be caught very soon. She's a murderer.
The votes are in. The audience has voted to send home Lilith. Please keep in mind that this was not my decision. Okay, let's get started with round 2.
Oh,
Audience,
the death
choose your
stairs.
first question.
The death stairs. And it looks like the questions do not change. So this is the crazy thing. Like, you know that you've already heard some of the answers. I'm not sure if they do repeat on the answers or not. So if you did already ask them that question, then you might have to keep track of it so you don't ask the same question, just in case. But Boo, you are up. Boo gets the first question, as we do have 5 more to ask each one. So hopefully the answers are different, I think. I don't know. We'll see. It wouldn't surprise me if they're not different, as this game does look a little bit on the low budget side. I hate to say it, but let's see his response to the trolley problem. That's a good idea.
You're the conductor on a runaway trolley. There are 5 people ahead of you on the tracks who cannot get off the tracks in time. If you continue forward, you will run over and kill all 5. You cannot stop the trolley, but you can change to an alternate track where there is only 1 person on it. If you decide to change tracks, the 5 people on the first track will live, but the 1 person on the alternate track will be run over and die. Do you change tracks?
Wait, I'm a trolley conductor for a living? How did I end up doing that to make ends meet? I mean, geez, forget the people on the tracks. If I ever sank so low I'm driving a trolley, I'd probably jump in front of it just to end my miserable life. Jeez. No thanks.
Wow. So Mr. Trolley Conductor here. Yoda, it's your turn. We know about asking him about the money question, so we did ask him about the money. We did ask him about the wallet. Yeah. So I think we've asked him a couple questions already. Did not expect that. I didn't either. Yeah, this guy's a little bit stuck up. He's a stick in the mud. Yeah. Okay, yep. So here we go. It's not going to let us ask the same questions over. What do you do for a living? So we're not going to have to keep track of all the questions. That's a good thing.
What do you do for a living?
I work at a distribution center where I drive a forklift. Pays pretty decent and get good overtime.
Did not expect that either. I don't think this guy knows about driving. He drives a forklift, but he wouldn't be okay with driving a trolley, so that's kind of weird too. He might be lying. Boo, it is your turn. What were you like as a child? Yeah, I want to know that one too.
What were you like as a child?
I was just like every other kid. Played with toys. I watched cartoons. And what else would you expect me to say to that?
That was pretty boring. Pretty boring. Yoda, what do you think? What say you? Proudest accomplishment. All right, let's see what he has to say of that one.
What is your proudest accomplishment?
I broke so many school records when I played high school football that I couldn't even name them all. I knew I wasn't good enough to go pro, but I'm willing to bet that a lot of those records still stay today.
This guy's a liar. I'm just going to say it. He is a liar. Let's listen to what his typical day is like.
Describe a typical day in your life.
I wake up, I eat, I go to work, come home, I eat, I watch TV, and then I go to bed.
Yeah, that was probably the most honest thing he said the whole time. So we're moving on past you, Joe. Let's go back to our friend here with the double-digit IQ. Boo, you're up. These ought to be interesting. Most controversial opinion.
What is your most controversial or unpopular opinion?
Okay. There's this James Bond movie called The World Is Not Enough, where Denise Richards plays a physicist. Everyone was making fun of it, saying that she did a terrible job and that it was sexist of them to cast her. Here's the thing. She did fine. If she was more plain looking, I guarantee nobody would have said anything. The people who are saying that it was sexist are the sexist ones. They don't believe that a woman can be hot and smart enough to be a scientist. And that's the most sexist thing you can do.
Actually, that's not true. We just don't believe you are smart enough to be a scientist. Yoda, it's your turn. That is actually my most controversial opinion as well. I don't think she's smart enough to be a scientist. Worst way you portrayed a friend.
What is the worst way you've betrayed a friend?
I sorta stole someone's boyfriend once. Well, it wasn't her boyfriend. My friend Brooke had a really big crush on this musician, and I told her to DM him, but she was too nervous to, so I DM'd him for her. He wasn't interested in her, so he ended up asking me out, and we dated for a bit. I can tell it made my friend a little uncomfortable, so that was one of the reasons why I broke up with him.
Interesting. Boo, you are up. She's not helping her case for this round. And I really thought she'd rebound too. I thought she'd answer some better questions if we let her pass the first round, but I was wrong. Most unusual pet peeve.
What's your most unusual pet peeve?
Pet peeve.
Uh-oh. I can see where this is going.
When my chihuahua poops in my purse. I carry her around everywhere in my bag. I wish they made, like, a harness so I can carry her around like a purse. And then they had pockets, so I wouldn't need another purse at all.
Oh, wow. How did I know that she was going to actually take it as a pet peeve? Get her gone. Yeah, I say the same thing. Yoda, what do you got, Yoda? We got to get rid of her. She's making the top of the list again because there's no more Lilith here. So nobody to outdo her. She's going to be gone this round. Has to be. Typical day in your life. This will be a good one.
Describe a typical day in your life.
My days are really busy. My trainer wakes me up at 8, then I hit the gym for 2 hours. I head downstairs to get breakfast. Then I take a shower, get my hair and makeup done. Then I get dressed. And I take my first selfie of the day. Then I talk to my agent and she tells me what photo shoots I have or other obligations. On the rare days that I'm not that busy, I get to come on things like this show.
Oh, yeah, you got to go. Oh, my goodness. It's so tough. I don't even want to ask her any questions. I really just wanted her to go now. I want to see what this one is. If she could have any superpower, let's see what she choose.
If you could have any superpower, what would you choose?
Shape-shifting. If I could shape-shift, I wouldn't have to work out and watch what I eat every single day. And I can still have this figure.
Yep, doesn't surprise me at all. We're moving on to this guy, and I forgot his name already. That is sad. I do not remember his name, but it is your turn, Boo. I just call this guy Pie Man because he has a cool-looking pie shirt on. And he's pretty funny, I'm not going to lie. He is definitely one of us. Most unusual talent.
What's your most unusual talent?
I'd say my most unusual talent is that I can solve a Rubik's Cube in under 2 minutes. And, it's not a world record or anything, but it's pretty good. I'll break it out sometimes, maybe if I want to impress a date. And then I'll
That
say,
was your question.
"Now you try." Actually, that has had the opposite effect, though, because they felt that I was rubbing it in their face that I was so good at it. And then I try to tell them that I wasn't trying to brag. I'm good at making things awkward, too. That's a pretty good talent of mine as well. But yeah, I'll stick with the Rubik's Cube.
That was a good one. Welcome in there, Chrislyn. Welcome in. Yoda, it is your turn. This guy here is good at Rubik's Cube, so I can't be mad at this guy. His answers are pretty solid. I don't feel like he's lying either. He comes across as very genuine. But Yoda, well, you're up next, and then we will let Chrislyn ask a question. We'll let her jump in. Proudest accomplishment.
What is your proudest accomplishment?
My proudest accomplishment was getting a perfect score on my SATs in the 8th grade. So I got a 1600. It did take me 3 tries. Almost had it on the second try, but took it again. And I guess you could say 3rd time's the charm.
Yeah, this guy's cool. He's a nerd, but he's cool. So the rules, and that's how this goes, is we did have 6 contestants on the show. They're all trying to win $1 million, and we have to vote them off. They are hooked up to a lie detector test. We have to ask them questions, and then at the end of the round, we have to vote them off. But we do have 5 questions out of a lot. There's 30 questions for each person you can ask. So, would you like to give it a shot and ask a question to this guy here? We do have the list here. Which is the most serious law you've ever broken? What's your happiest memory? What were you like as a child? What do you do for a living? Who would you want to be stranded on an island with? Biggest fear. I like it. Let's go with it.
What's your biggest fear?
Okay, my biggest fear, and this might be uncommon, but I am afraid of things that can't really happen, or things that are like an optical illusion but aren't possible in real life. So for example, M.C. Escher paintings, like a staircase that starts nowhere and leads to nowhere.
He's twitchy.
Walls and architecture that are not possible in real life, or opening a door and a room is upside down, or just objects that move through space and do not abide by the laws of physics. Because I'm a logical person, I'm trying to wrap my head around these things, and because I can't get a toehold in logic into how that setup is occurring, I lose my bearings. And that is my biggest fear.
Yeah, he's my favorite for sure. Upside down room sounds cool. It actually does. It sounds like a lot of fun. But I have been in a maze before when I was younger, where the room did look upside down and it scared the crap out of me. So Definitely don't think I'd ever try that again. It is back to your turn, Boo. Definitely my favorite so far, too, though. Definitely my favorite so far. And I don't know. There's quite a couple bad ones. Stranded Island. That's a good one.
If you were going to be stranded on an island with one person of your choosing, who would it be?
If I was going to be stranded on a desert island with one person, it's not an easy question. I have 7 billion choices. Okay. Yep. So, a lot of people are probably going to pick someone who's like really attractive or like a great conversationalist, very entertaining. I'm going to pick Vladimir Putin.
Oh, no.
And it's not because I'm a fan, but if I was on that island and just Putin just magically appears there, that means I've taken the biggest despot in the world, the most evil person walking the earth today, and he's out of circulation. I don't think in good conscience I could pass up that choice. It's going to do so much good for so many people. And then it's me, it's him, and if he wants to annex something, he'd have to annex my supply of coconuts. That's it. The people of Ukraine are okay. No World War III. No regrets. It's Putin. Let's go.
Yep, he's got my vote. I'm voting for that guy for president. Hopefully he runs next election. I am voting. I'm sold. Best answer he could have ever said. I was skeptical at first, but yeah, I like the guy. Yoda, it is your turn. This guy here is a genius. He is moving on, as they say. What would you do with the money? That is a good one, too. I'd like to see. This guy is pretty smart. I wonder what his answer is going to be.
What would you do with the money?
Well, I've been working on a film for several years. It's kind of like my main baby when it comes to screenwriting, but I haven't had the capital to produce it. It's a superhero film, but get this. In most superhero movies, someone gets powers. They either become the good guy or the bad guy. What if they just still remain a guy and they don't use the powers? Maybe they're like, they try them out, but then they're like, you know what? I'm just gonna stick to my regular life. And it's a superhero film that turns into just a slice of life normal guy film because he doesn't use them. And then at the end, when you think he's like, oh, he's about to save the day, the powers get reversed and he loses them.
That's not a bad concept. Not a bad concept. Yeah, I like the dude. Let's go ask our redheaded friend here. And it is... Whose turn is it? I am losing track of whose turn it is. I think it's Chrysaline's turn. It is Chrysaline's turn to ask our redheaded friend here. She's funny. She has a lot of funny life stories. Is there a fave about animal? Let's see. I don't know if there is an animal. Obviously, pet peeve. That's what the blonde thought. The blonde thought it was a real pet peeve. There is not. There's not an animal question, unfortunately. I mean, you could always try the pet peeve question. She looks a little bright. I don't think she's going to actually think it's a true pet peeve question, though. Dream job. All right, let's go with that one.
If you could have any job, what would it be?
I don't want any job. The most valuable thing I have is my free time, and I am not willing to sell that time for an hourly wage.
Well then, okay. I guess she told us, Boo, it is your turn. I mean, she's pretty valid about that. I wouldn't want to trade my free time for a job with a wage now, but I don't know. Probably just depends on the wage too. Biggest fear. Let's see what it is. She doesn't seem scared of anything.
What is your biggest fear?
Global warming, pollution. Humans are killing this planet. Nature doesn't fight back, so humans are the only ones who can save the planet, but we're the ones it needs saving from. So the Earth is pretty much doomed.
Oh, one of those people, huh? All right, Yoda, it is your turn. Proudest accomplishment.
What is your proudest accomplishment?
I organized a demonstration to save a park, and it worked. They were going to level the place and build a distribution center. We had people protesting at the site for 3 weeks straight and got over 1,000 names on the petition. They ended up building the distribution center on the site of a nearby abandoned mall instead, so we didn't lose any jobs or anything. It was a complete win.
Not bad at all. Be right back. Bathroom break. No problem at all. I am going to ask a question here. I'm going to jump in and take the place, and I want to see let's ask her about her unusual talent.
What is your most unusual talent?
I know how to survive in the wilderness. I can tell what's edible. I can build a shelter on fire. I can clean water so it's safe to drink. Just survival skills in general. I don't like being dependent on money or on society, so I learned how to get by on my own.
Curious if she thinks her time is the most valuable. What she does for a living, nothing. That is very true. She could be lying. The thing is, you have to keep in mind that all these contestants are hooked to a lie detector test, and I do think they might say anything possible just to win the money. So, very curious in the end to see if we can find out who's lying and who's not. So, Curious thinks her time is the most valuable. What does she do for a living? You want? So I'm guessing you want me to ask that question. It is your turn. So, if you want me to, I will ask her what she does for a living. I think that's what you were asking too. Because we can't ask her. If you want to know, yes, please. We all want to know that as well.
What do you do for a living?
I escaped the rat race a few years ago. I cut all my expenses drastically, so now I only need a few $100 a month to survive. I deliver food through those gig apps, but only 2 or 3 orders per day, just enough to get by. I find if I make more money than I need, I just end up buying stuff that clutters my life and makes me less happy.
I can respect that. Yoda, it is your turn. We're actually moving on from her as well. So, Yoda, you have your friend Claire here, who I liked at first too, but I do think she's lying after the last couple of questions we asked her. But so she does work. Yeah, exactly. She does work. She does gig apps. She made it sound like she didn't do anything at all. So, welcome back, Boo. Welcome back. So we're going to let Yoda ask the next question here from Claire, and then we'll jump back in, and then Boo can ask the question after that. But we are on to Claire, the last one for this round, and then we are going to take our votes and get rid of somebody else. Somebody else got to go. Somebody's got to go home this round. Claire's red hair looks like yours. It does, doesn't it, huh? Yeah, it does look like your gaming pick, too. Nothing wrong with her hair. We have nothing against her hair, but we do have something against her lies. Except you like ponytails. Yeah. Yeah, we like ponytails, too. We just don't like liars, and I think Claire is a liar. Just saying. I don't believe her. I think she's telling us some AFibs. Worst way you betrayed a friend. Let's see what she says.
What is the worst way you've betrayed a friend?
Well, that would be my friend Emily from high school. We were paired together for a science project, and she looked after this egg that we were given for the first week, and I was to look after it for the second week, and I did it great. The egg was perfect, and I was carrying it into school on the last day of the project to give to Emily to hand to the teacher. I got chased by a coyote, and of course I dropped the egg, and then the coyote ate the egg, and I just thought, I can't let Emily down. Like, I don't want to betray my friends and disappoint her. And I remembered, though, that I had seen a bird's nest on the way to school a few days before, so I went back, and sure enough, there's an egg in the bird's nest. It was maybe like a slightly bluer shade of grey than the egg we'd be given, but I thought, nobody's going to notice, so I took it into school, handed it to Emily. She was just about to give it to the teacher, and a red-tailed hawk flew in the window and violently attacked Emily for touching the baby's egg. And so not only did we not get an A, Emily was in intensive care for 3 weeks, and things were never the same with us again.
Lies. You see what I mean? She is a liar. Lie. I can't even say the L right when I say it with her. It's beyond normal. She is a liar. Liar. Who's next? Boo, it is your turn. It is your turn, Boo. This is crazy. She probably is going to get gone before the blonde. I hate to say it. All them lies. I can't believe it. All them lies. If she's telling the truth, then damn. Yeah, damn. If she's telling the truth, damn. Dumbest thing you ever did. I gotta hear this one.
What is the dumbest thing you ever did?
Oh, well, that was sleeping in a dumpster. I mean, it seems like a good idea, right? You know, there's a lid on them, keeps you dry when it's wet. Unfortunately, I fell asleep and the garbage truck came by, and I woke up to find myself being tumbled into the garbage truck and being compacted in beside everything else. It took me 3 days to free myself from the block I was in the landfill.
Most unpopular opinion. You think she's being truthful? Maybe she just doesn't know. Maybe she's got some mental things going on. She said, nope, lie. Most unpopular opinion. Yeah, let's try that out. Let's see.
What is your most controversial or unpopular opinion?
Most people think you need milk to eat cereal. I completely disagree. It's so extortionate. The prices of milk nowadays. I mean, no way. I just use water, and it's delicious. I love my cereal with water when I can find cereal.
Yeah, she's lying. All right, I'm going to go. I do. She's homeless and traumatized by losing her daughter. And she could be, but the losing her daughter part really just, she didn't show no emotion. She would be dead. The pressure would have killed her unless it's pretty empty. Yeah, that's true. The trash can being in the dumpster probably would have got her. Yeah, that's very true. It is your turn, I think. Is it Boo's turn or is it Chrysalin's turn? I think it's, yeah, Chrislin's turn. Chrislin's turn. Yeah, I think the trash can, she would have been killed in that dumpster. I just have a hard time believing her after her daughter's story. She didn't seem to show as much emotion as I would have thought. Unusual talent.
What is your most unusual talent?
My most unusual talent. 'Cause, I mean, I've got quite a few talents, but you know, it's funny because some people think that it's unusual that I can digest grass. Now, I couldn't always digest grass. Humans are not known for their ability to digest grass, but if you really persevere after the first, 40 to 50 upset stomachs, your body does change and it can do it and adapt. And I mean, I don't recommend if you've got any kind of, IBS or anything, but other than that, it totally works for me, saves me a fortune.
Yeah, I'm going to ask the last question here and end this off with, I don't know. I still do not believe her on everything. Some things she might be telling the truth. Her daughter and the bird story seem like they're far-fetched. Let's try to do her superpowers.
If you could have any superpower, what would you choose?
I would choose the superpower to heal like Wolverine. That would just come in so handy for me. It would save so much time. I wouldn't have to go to hospital every single time I got attacked by a wild animal or caught some terrible disease or was in some almost fatal accident.
That's the end of this round. We'll soon find out who will be going home after this message from our sponsor. Today's episode is brought to you by OneSock.com. Does it always seem like you have an odd number of socks for some reason? OneSock.com lets you buy one individual sock so you can finally even things out. That's OneSock.com. Use offer code TRUTH and they'll include a second sock absolutely free. Now it's time for the audience to vote.
I am going to check that out.
Please enter the selection of the contestant you think should be going home.
Yeah, you are true. Grass does help an upset stomach for dogs and other animals, and I don't know how it works for humans. Not sure. But it is time to cast our vote. You guys, like last round, cast your top 3 votes in order of who you think should be sent home. And let's post them in chat. Everybody's top 3 votes. We got Joe, Alexis is the blonde, Sam's the pie guy, Autumn, and then Claire. But everybody cast your top 3 votes, and then we're going to do a tally and see who is going home. All right, we got some votes coming in there. You can, as you saw the 3, so you say the redhead. That's okay. We will go with your vote as Claire is the top, and then I'm going to put mine in there. So we do have 3 votes for Alexis. So Alexis is definitely going home. That was an easy pick. She didn't help herself out. We are going to give her the boot and give her a good old pet peeve to the house. Bye.
The votes are in. The audience has voted to send home Alexis.
That's okay. This was fun. And isn't that the point of a game show?
Let's begin round 3.
All right, we are down to the final 4 contestants. So essentially 3 more rounds to go. And whose turn is it on the questions? I think it's Boo's turn. Let's go Boo, then we'll go Yoda, and then Chrislyn, and then back around. As we are back to Joe Smo. I don't like this guy. He is definitely targeted going into this round. Yeah, Boo or Yoda's. Yeah, I think it's Boo's turn. I think will be Boo, then Yoda, then you. Plenty of questions to ask, though. We still got 3 more clowns to eliminate. Biggest regret.
What is your biggest regret?
Marrying my high school sweetheart. My ex-wife. Ex-wife. No more. No thank you. Yeah, we were miserable. And now I pay alimony every month.
This guy here is funny. It is now Yoda. What you got, Yoda? Yeah, this guy, he's annoying. Ever cheated on anyone?
Have you ever cheated on anyone?
Have I ever cheated? In my entire life, like cheated? Of course I have. Who hasn't? I mean, everyone cheats. I've cheated on by girls. I've cheated on girls. I mean, that's just life, man. Everyone cheats.
Yeah, he's a cheater and he paid alimony for a month. Oh, this is crazy. This guy's a real D-bag. D-bag, T-bag, whatever kind of bag you want to call him. Chrislyn, it's your turn. Yep, he paid alimony for a good old month. Lies. Yeah, that's not how it works, right? That's definitely not how it works. Pet peeve, all right.
What's your most unusual pet peeve?
Can't stand it when people are FaceTiming or like on speakerphone around me, like as if I'm not there, stomping around with their big loud conversation, like you're holding me hostage to your conversation. I don't give a shit. Go somewhere else. What happened to, phones that you had to hold up to your ear so I didn't have to listen to you? That shit drives me crazy.
There's something wrong with this guy. Complete something wrong. Boo, it is your turn. This guy might be an obvious choice to be gone this round. Yeah, I can't believe how this guy went from semi-likable to absolutely gotta go. Childhood dream.
What was your childhood dream?
I had a ton of dreams as a kid. What I wanted to do changed all the time, I mean, wouldn't that be true for just about everyone? Who spends their whole childhood focused on one goal?
That was boring. Why does this guy have some boring answers? Yoda, it is your turn. He's either got plain short answers or he just really comes across as a mule. Dumbest thing you ever did.
What is the dumbest thing you ever did?
Yeah, so I was the toughest kid in my high school, right? Everybody knew that about me. There was this guy, though. He was 6'8", freakishly tall, big guy. Everyone was like, oh, he's tough. Like, oh, he could take you. I hated that. What, you're tall, so that gives you grit? Bullshit. So, plus the guy, he was in honors classes. He must have been a nerd. No way he could take me. One day, it got to me. I called him out in the hallway. I egged him on. He didn't want to fight. I said, let's go. Not only did he beat my ass, but he beat it so badly. It was just... I was bruising for days, man. Best part is, though, we became best friends. And, yeah, the rest is history. I don't know, I picked a fight with a giant, got my ass beat. That was stupid. Yeah, that was stupid.
I actually believe that. The fact that he admitted to getting his arse whooped, I believe it. He has boring answers because he's a liar. No one pays alimony for a month, and he's not the toughest kid in school. Yeah, he definitely got his ass beat, though. I had to say it. I mean, I had to say it. He definitely got it beat. We're done with him. We are moving on to our favorite, well, my favorite, I'll just put it like that. My favorite guy here. And then, of course, it is your turn, Boo. Yeah, this guy's just too cool. I would wear that shirt, too. I'd wear the pie shirt. Yeah, this guy by far is my favorite. Favorite holiday?
What is your favorite holiday?
Yeah, my favorite holiday is definitely Pi Day. March 14th, 3/14, aka 3.14, as in pi. And I love it. It's not an official holiday yet, anyway, but every Pi Day, I go to a competition where, first off, there are many varieties of pie, blueberry, apple, we indulge. And then there's the competition part of it where they see who can name the most numbers after the decimal point from memory. And I won it once. I named 1,826 numbers from memory, but that's not the world record. And I don't know if I'll ever get close to that. The world record is 70,000 from memory. Happy Pi Day.
Pi Day. Love it. Should have seen that one coming. Yeah, that's a good one. Yoda, it is your turn. Pi Day. And I unfortunately cannot name anything but the pi of 3.14, so he's on his own there. Serious law you've ever broken?
What's the most serious law you've ever broken?
I would say the most serious law I've ever broken is sneaking into a movie. So, in 2015, Star Wars The Force Awakens was coming out, and there was an advanced sneak preview screening beforehand. And it was invite only. So I figured out a way around that since I wasn't invited, but I did want to see it. I'm not going to tell you what theater it was or what theater chain because I do not want to get a phone call from their attorneys. But the night before this advanced screening, I went to a movie at that theater, and then I stayed in the theater all night long. I hid in the bathroom, slept there, and then the next day, I was in the theater for the screening. And there were a couple of seats open. It wasn't completely full. So I got into the sneak preview. I saw The Force Awakens early. I'm not proud of it. It's probably a big felony, but I would do it again.
Wow, so he's not lying about the pi record? Wow, she Googled the information. She looked up all the information. She wanted to verify this guy's telling the truth, so she looked it up. That is funny. Well, he is telling us the truth, and we now have it verified that he is not lying. That is hilarious. So it is. Whose turn is it? It's Chrysalin's turn. It's your turn to ask him questions to see if he's lying. That's a lot. That's a lot of numbers to memorize. Memorizing my own phone number is quite a task. So I'm going to go with 7 being maybe 9. I think my social security number might be the longest number that I have memorized. Maybe. That might be the longest one. I can't think of any other one that's longer than that. Worst way you betrayed a friend.
What is the worst way you've betrayed a friend?
I try not to betray friends, but okay. I spoiled Avengers Infinity War for several of my friends and coworkers. So, opening night, I saw it twice. I got my tickets in advance for 2 showings right in a row, back to back. I was at the theater for like 6 hours just downloading Infinity War, and it was awesome. But I'm like, okay, Friday, maybe people haven't seen it yet. Over the weekend, I saw it 2 more times. I go into work Monday. I assume that everyone has seen it. It's a phenomenon. It's like the movie grossed like $2 billion. I don't know how much everyone saw it. I assume they all saw it opening weekend. And I started going on about the people we lost, the Avengers we lost, the snap. I really spoiled that movie for a lot of people. I had a lot of apologizing. And if you're watching, let me just say once again, I am so sorry. I promise you, I am now keeping it spoiler-free.
Yeah, spoiling movies and shows, that's how you lose me as a friend. So just going to warn you on that. And Yoda says social security numbers are 9-digit, phone numbers are 10. Yoda's calling me out. She just basically said I told a lie. So you guys are going to have to vote me off. I'm very, very sorry. Oh, that's hilarious. I didn't think about that at all. Did not think about that. Yeah. It is your turn, Boo. Yeah, I have done that by accident, spoiled shows and movies. But I hate that. That is one of my pet peeves for sure. If it's something I don't want to see or don't want to know the answer to and I like to watch it, don't want to spoil it. So we have 2 more questions here. Most embarrassing memory.
What is your most embarrassing memory?
Oh yeah, I got an embarrassing memory. My most embarrassing memory was, okay, so I was maybe like 4 or 5 years old, and we were at a neighbor's house, the Harrises. They were the only house on the block that had a pool. So we'd go over there for summer afternoons, pool parties. So I was in the pool this one time with my dad, and I told him I had to pee. And he told me, just go in the pool. That's what everyone does. So again, I was really young. This was like probably right before kindergarten. And I peed in the pool and it was fine. So that became a normal thing. I would go, if I was in the pool, I would pee in the pool. Well, one summer, again, I was very young, maybe kindergarten. There was a big pool party. It was a birthday. Everyone was there from my class, the neighbors, and I had to go. I wasn't in the pool. I was standing right outside the pool, and I figured, oh, if I have to go, just go in the pool. And I stood there and peed into the pool. I quickly learned that that was wrong. Everyone was horrified. They cleared out the pool. Party was almost over. It was like I ruined the birthday. And that stigma stuck with me, let's see, if that was kindergarten, almost until high school. Yeah, I was the pool peer. Not my proudest moment.
Good old pool peer. You would log off the internet the days of Supernatural and Walking Dead. Yeah, Walking Dead was amazing. I used to love that show. The one question I should have asked, what was your most guilty pleasure? Matter of fact, that one is on here, and I will steal this last question from everybody. I'm sorry, I'm just going to cut in line. And I will ask him, what's his most embarrassing guilty pleasure?
What is your most embarrassing guilty pleasure?
Yeah, my most embarrassing guilty pleasure, I like to go back and rewatch the cartoons from my childhood. I don't do it all the time, but when I think of one and I haven't seen it in a while, I'll look it up, I'll see where it's streaming or where I can find it, and then I will watch the crap out of it from front to back and relive my childhood a little bit. Maybe take out some of my old action figures. Yeah, that is an embarrassing guilty pleasure.
Yeah, he's definitely a little bit too truthful for sure. Excuse me, everybody. We're moving on. We are moving on to Claire here. He's a big man child. He is definitely a child nerd. Big man child nerd, yeah. He reminds me just of a normal, down-to-earth video game player. He definitely reminds me of us. Maybe me. I shouldn't say us, because you guys maybe might not be in the same boat as nerdy as I am. So it is Boo's turn here. I think. Am I right on that? Or let's see. Yep, I think it is Boo's turn. Rugrats, yeah, for sure. Yeah. Definitely reminds you of Kramer from Friends, not sure why. Never mind, forget you said anything. No. Rugrats and Rocco's Modern Life. I remember both of those. And then, of course, I have to throw in Doug. If you know anything about Rugrats and Rocco's Modern Life, then you definitely know about Doug. That's quite all right. Let's skip ahead. AFK for Boo at the moment. Is it Yoda's turn, I think? Yep. Yoda, it is your turn. We'll give you the next question. Hey, Arnold. There you go. Hey, Arnold. Doug, Rugrats. There's a couple more. I know I'm forgetting a bunch of them. There was so many. So many cartoons on Nickelodeon. And then, of course, all that as well. Biggest regret.
What is your biggest regret?
Ren and
Working
Stimpy, yes.
normal jobs and living a normal life as long as I did. I was always miserable when I was working. Even when I was off the clock, I was miserable. So I got out of the rat race a few years ago, and I've never been happier.
Happy, joy, Ren and Stimpy. How could we forget about that? Definitely Ren and Stimpy was awesome. Slime time. Now you're embarrassing yourself. Now you're bringing back great memories. Definitely great childhood memories. And it is your turn, Chrislyn. Guilty pleasure. That's always a good question.
What is your most embarrassing guilty pleasure?
Walking naked through the woods. I'm much more comfortable around trees and flowers than I am around people.
Well, I guess there's that. Yoda, it is your turn. You believe that? Yeah. She's pretty down to earth. What would you do with the money? I bet she donated. That's very true. She might. Let's see.
What would you do with the money?
Pharmaceutical companies test drugs on puppies and other small animals all the time, then just abandon them when they're done. Someone needs to do something about it. If I win, I plan on using the money to open a rehab center so I can help those poor puppies recover and live normal lives.
Okay. She is definitely winning my vote over. That was definitely a good answer. So there's your pet answer right there about the animals, Chrislyn. And it is your turn as well. Definitely good answer. It's going to be hard to vote somebody off. It's really not, actually. Joe's probably going to be the first one. Pet peeve.
What's your most unusual pet peeve?
It drives me crazy when people throw away plastic bottles with the cap screwed on. I understand that people are busy and can't always do much to help the environment, but all they have to do in this case is not screw the cap back on. If they put the cap on, then there's air trapped in the bottle and it won't flatten out in the landfill. Just leave the cap off and the bottle will get crushed and will take up way less space. It literally takes less than no effort.
She raged out a little bit on that one. She might be right, though. I've never thought about that. And for the last question here, I will ask her the last one. Let's see if she had any superpowers, what she would choose.
If you could have any superpower, what would you choose?
Chlorokinesis. It's the power Swamp Thing has that lets him be one with plant life. I'd love to be able to communicate with nature on its own level. Plus, if I had a power like that, I'd really be able to help save the planet.
Well, all right then. We move on to the last contestant. And Yoda, it is your turn to start us off with Claire. Typical day in your life.
Describe a typical day in your life.
A typical day in my life is searching for my missing daughter, Mallory. And really it is one of the big benefits to being homeless and unemployed is that I have no ties. I have nothing holding me back and stopping me from hitchhiking out there, getting on the road, heading to the last town that I've heard that she was in. When I get to the town, usually I find out that she's just left there suddenly. So I'll search for a soup kitchen or a dumpster, get something nice to eat, and then maybe a place to shelter until I hit the road again the next morning trying to find Mallory.
You say chlorokinesis is the fictional superhuman ability to mentally control and manipulate plant life. This power allows a user to grow plants rapidly, shape them into weapons or constructs. She wants to make plant weapons. Oh, I didn't know that. That's funny. So now she is classified as evil. She has an alternate intention. Chrysalin, it is your turn. That is hilarious. I didn't know that. So seems like she is not as innocent as we think. She's trying to. She's turning into Poison Ivy from the Batman and Marvel universe. Trolley problem. Oh, that is definitely a good one.
You're the conductor. On a runaway trolley, there are 5 people on the tracks ahead of you who cannot get off the tracks in time. If you continue forward, you will run over and kill all 5 of them. You cannot stop the trolley, but you can change to an alternate track which only has 1 person on it. If you decide to change tracks, all 5 people on the first track will live, but the person on the alternate track will be run over and die. Do you change tracks?
Before answering that, what you have to understand is that being run over by a trolley doesn't have to be fatal. I've survived it at least twice now, and after an extended hospital stay, I was completely fine. You just have to avoid being crushed by the wheels when you're underneath. So, in answer to your question, your morality question, of course you switch to where the one person is because there's just not room under there for a crowd.
That's pretty smart. Good answer. Good answer. Yoda, it is your turn. That is definitely a good answer. Better question than one person happens to be your dog. Oh. It's a good thing that you can't personalize these questions because that probably would have been that'd have been a good one. I don't know what we would have had from that one. That's a tough one. You just outdid all the questions with that one. What were you like as a child?
What were you like as a child?
I was a hoop trundler. You know, when you get the wooden hoop and you run it down the street with your wooden stick. Oh, I was getting so good at it. I could go really fast and really far. I had to stop because I got rickets.
No worries. You just ordered dinner. Awesome. Dinner does sound good. Chrislyn, it is your turn, and then we'll jump back into Boo on the next one. Domino's Pizza, loaded tots, and marbled brownies. Oh, that sounds really, really good. Definitely a good choice. We have 2 questions remaining for Claire here. And one of them is not going to be would she like some Domino's pizza, so we can definitely avoid that one. Although she might. Job, what would it be?
If you could have any job, what would it be?
Any job in the whole world? I would choose to be a wealthy banker because they get paid a fortune and their hours don't seem bad at all. I mean, maybe when the line gets really long up to their till, that might get stressful managing that, but apart from that, I mean, what's the downside?
Interesting. I don't know if I would be a banker, but, you know, if that's what she wants to do. Boo, it is your turn to ask the 5th and final question. Like her accent. Yeah, me too. Not sure what that is. I'm not sure if she's from England or what. You would ask the plant girl the trolley question and say the one on the other track has a dog on it. Oh, that's a good one. Yeah. If you could customize these questions, that would be a really good one. Really good one. You would definitely have them shaking in their boots for that one. All right, we are on question number 5 here to end this round. You ever cheated on anyone?
Have you ever cheated on anyone?
Certainly not. I have been ever faithful to my one true love, my husband, who I've not seen since the fishing trip, but he's my one and all.
That's the end of this round. We'll soon find out who will be going home after this message from our sponsor.
twosocks.com.
Today's episode is brought to you by placebos. Are you a hypochondriac? Ask your doctor if placebos are right for you. Now it's time for the audience to vote. Please enter the selection of the contestant you think should be going home.
All right, we are down to 4. We're going to change it up this round. Instead of voting for 3, you guys give me your top 2 that you would send home. Your number 1 and your number 2. And that's how we're going to do the voting for this round. We do have Joe, Sam, Autumn, and Claire. It's getting a little bit harder to make the call now, but who's your top 2? It's tough. Not going to lie. There's one that's Joe and Joe. That is hilarious. 1 and 2. He takes up both spots. That is so funny. That is so funny. So funny. Oh, it's so tough. I don't know who I'd want to send home. My second one is not a popular pick, but this is who I'm going to go with for my top 2. And I'm pretty sure we don't even need a top 2 because everybody's going to vote for the same person. So looks like we have a Joe and Joe, Joe and Claire, Joe and Autumn, and Joe and Claire. Joe, Redheads lie. Well, she gets to lie on to the next round on this one because Joe got voted out quick, fast, and hurry. Bye, Joe, Mr. Tough Guy. Bye.
The votes are in. The audience has voted to send home Joe.
That's fine. My ex and her loser boyfriend would probably get the money anyways because our legal system sucks. So, whatever.
Let's start round 4.
All right, we are now down to 3. We now have our guys Sam, Claire, and Autumn. Sam is first up. And first up is going to be Yoda. I think Yoda's next. He told the truth about our legal system. He did that. He did tell the truth about that. But that's about it. He doesn't tell the truth very often. Bring him back. Any job. If you could have any job, what would it be?
If you could have any job, what would it be?
If I could have any job, I'd like to be the continuity supervisor on any Star Trek TV show. There are so many mistakes that would have been so easy to fix if only someone caught them in time. I'd love to be that someone.
You'd love to be that someone? Let me tell you why there's mistakes. When you're working 17 to 22 hours a day, sometimes people mess up on continuity, all right? Relax. Just relax.
I just want to say I'm so sorry. Because in the moment when I was thinking about my dream job, I literally forgot that you were on Star Trek, and you have boldly gone where no man has gone before. So, thank you for your service, and yeah, I am sorry for being so nitpicky.
Wow. Okay. I did not know that our host was in Star Trek. Stepped over a line there. That is funny. So next up is who's next? Is it Chrysalin or Boo? I think it's Chrysalin. Chrysalin, I think you're next. Kind of got thrown off. I was really surprised that our host spoke up. A little bit of an Easter egg there. Star Trek is coming back. Here's your chance. Yeah, Star Trek has actually been around for quite a while. I don't think it actually left. There is Star Trek TV series or Netflix series, or Peacock series, I think. So, if you're a Star Trek fan, there's plenty of Star Trek out there. Younger self.
What advice would you give to your younger self?
What advice would I give to my younger self? Okay, first, I would make sure to tell myself to buy stock in Microsoft, Apple, and Netflix, and hold on to it until at least 2019. Don't sell it until 2019. And then I would actually tell myself to start playing chess early and often, because I was late to the game, and I love chess, and I'm pretty good at it, but I don't think I'll ever be great at it. And you have to start young, and you have to play early and often if you want to be truly exceptional at chess. And I really believe that if I did start young, I could have been one of the greats, because I see everything it takes to be exceptional. Yeah, I would tell myself to start playing chess early. Join the chess club.
Star Trek is coming back. I did not know that. Really cool. Yeah, really, really cool. Let's see. Whose turn is it next? Yoda, it is your turn. It looks like somebody stole your question, though. Gonna have to come up with a new one. Scroll, please. Yes, ma'am. Childhood dream. What do you do for a living? What were you like as a child? Happiest memory. Have you ever cheated on anyone? Dumbest thing you ever did? Biggest regret? And most controversial, unpopular opinion. So we are almost out of questions for this guy. We are asking him everything. Dumbest thing.
What is the dumbest thing you ever did?
Dumbest thing I ever did. How do I choose just one? Okay. I was camping outside a store waiting to buy a game console. So it was going to be released, and I wanted to get there early. I wanted to make sure that I got one. And I set up a tent. I was going to sleep outside the store. I was there for 28 hours in my tent. The night before the store opened, when they were going to sell the console, it was go time. I went to sleep in my tent, had my phone with me. I didn't have any way to charge my phone, and my alarm didn't go off in the morning because my phone ran out of juice. I woke up 3 hours after the store opened, and I did not get the console. I slept in a tent on a sidewalk. Got back problems from it. For what ended up being no reason whatsoever.
Oh, this guy here. Boo, you are up. As we are now down to 2 questions left for Sam. Happiest memory.
What is your happiest memory?
Going there in my mind right now. Absolutely my happiest memory was going to see The Phantom Menace in the big screen. Star Wars Episode 1. You see, let's rewind. I thought I would never see new Star Wars in my lifetime. So when that came to pass, and I found myself butt in seat, looking up in a theater, brand new, taking me to a galaxy far, far away, the iconic scroll, the Star Wars logo, the score, John Williams. I can honestly say I was never happy. Now, the quality overall of the prequels, that is another conversation. But for that frozen moment in time, kill me now. I'm good.
Well, all right then. Next up, Chrislyn, it is your turn. Last question for this guy here. His answers seems he gives longer answers than anybody else. I'm not gonna lie. He must be allowed to speak as long as he wants. Living. What do you do for a living there, sir?
What do you do for a living?
I'm going to ask that you reserve judgment when I tell you that I am an auditor for the IRS. Now, I know a lot of people think that we are inherently
He's
evil,
lying.
that we are monsters coming to take your money. No. Okay? We are not evil. We're not going around trying to harass people. We don't want to screw over the little guy. And here's the thing. If you make an honest mistake on your taxes, we will send you a notice about it and ask you to settle the difference. Or if we find that you didn't include a form, a W-2 or something, send it to us. We're good. Now, if you are some rich person who's intentionally trying to game the system for your personal gain, then that might be an issue. Those are the people that get audited. The big muckety-mucks who are who are just greedy. Then we will come after you.
She said John Williams was not in the cast of Phantom Menace. So we might have called him out. He might be lying. Might we have found his lie? That's a good one. All right, let's move on to Autumn. And it looks like it is Boo's turn. Nope, hang on. Yoda's turn, I'm sorry. Did not mean to skip you, Yoda. We do have a liar amongst us. That's crazy. Glad you pointed that out. John Williams was not in the Phantom Menace cast. Huh. Sure. You can forego and give this one to me. I will take this one here. I want to ask her the trolley problem. Very curious on this one.
You're the conductor on a runaway trolley. There are 5 people ahead of you on the tracks who cannot get off the tracks in time. If you continue forward, you will run over
the producer.
and kill all
There you go.
5 of them. You cannot stop the trolley, but you can change to an alternate track where there is only one person on it. If you decide to change tracks, the 5 people on the first track will live, but the one person on the alternate track will be run over and die. Do you change tracks?
I change tracks and hit the one person. The only argument I can see for staying on the current track is that I might feel guilty if I actively made a decision that killed one person. But one person dying and me feeling guilty about it certainly isn't as bad as 5 people dying.
Very logical answer. And it looks like it is Boo's turn. So John Williams was actually the producer. Not gonna lie, I have not seen all of the Star Wars movies, not the newer ones. The Phantom Menace original motion picture soundtrack, John Williams. Songs, 13-minute Star Wars main title, and Arrival at Naboo. Wallet. Yeah, I don't know anything about the newer Star Wars movies. I have seen the older ones, but not the newer ones. Let's ask her the wallet question.
If you found a wallet,
I would return it, but I wouldn't be doing the owner a favor by doing so. People are obsessed with money and credit cards. They think money will buy them the freedom to enjoy life. Really, the quest to acquire wealth just makes you a slave to your employer. Still, it's their wallet, so of course I would return it.
That is very true. Everybody thinks you're a huge Star Wars fan. Excuse me. And a male. That is very true. He was a part of Phantom Menace, but it looks like the composer of the music. Huh. So maybe Sam was lying, maybe he wasn't. Who knows? Chrysalin, it is your turn. Let's see if we can't find some anomalies and see if we can catch her in a lie. Maybe she doesn't know everything. Stranded on the island.
If you were going to be stranded on an island with one person of your choosing, who would it be?
I know the standard answer is to name someone really hot who you want to sleep with, but that's actually pretty cruel. You're basically condemning the person you picked to be stranded on a deserted island. That's a pretty awful thing to do to someone. I'd pick no one. I'd be stuck on the island by myself.
That's a lie.
This is embarrassing. Regardless. Hooked up to a lie detector. I'd pick Chris Hemsworth. Sorry, Chris.
That is funny. I can't. I mean, I don't think it's fair that she got called out by the host as it was a lie. That's hilarious. You're Googling too much. Hey, that's quite all right. It's just about having fun. And it helps us out for sure, because I don't know who the liar is. I am leaning on you guys to help me out with some of this stuff that I don't know anything about. That's funny, though. Yoda, it is your turn. It is Yoda's turn. The hugest, biggest Star Wars fan there is, Yoda. Betrayal of a friend. She's probably lying. Now she's lying.
What's the worst way you've betrayed a friend?
I gave a lot of my friends chlamydia. In fairness, some of them probably had it already. We're all very open about our sexuality. That's just the type of people I vibe with.
Well, all right then. Boo, you get to ask the follow-up question here. That's a tough one. Tough question to follow up after that one. Or actually, I'm lying. It's Christlin's turn. I'm lying. Yeah, I thought she didn't like people. Me either. Yeah, no, you're right. It is your turn, Boo. I'm lying. I should be voted off myself. Younger, self-advice.
What advice would you give to your younger self?
Drop out of school. A high school diploma is useless as an adult. And college is a waste of money. Just enjoy your childhood. You only get one.
Yeah, she's pretty screwed. She did lie. It is now Boo's turn. Do you want to keep that same question, Boo, for Claire? Or do you want to change it up? Younger self-advice. You want to stick with that one, or do you want to ask a different question? I don't think this one... Yeah, it is. No, actually it's not. We've already asked that one with her. You'd have to ask something different. We did ask that question to her already, so she's only got 10 remaining, so there's going to be a different one. So I guess by the time we get down to the last two here, we're going to have no questions left to ask them. We're just going to have to ask the only 5 they have remaining. Wallet. Yeah, let's ask her the wallet question.
If you found a wallet, would you return it?
Absolutely, I would return a wallet. I mean, if I was ever lucky enough to own something as precious as a wallet, I would really hope that someone would return mine to me if I ever lost it.
I believe that. I believe that is the truth. And then next up, we do have Kirsten, it's your turn. I'm trying to keep up. I always forget whose turn it is in the order that we're going in, so... We are definitely going to run out of questions, though. And I think the music is supposed to make us feel sad for her, too. I don't know. I feel like they're trying to guilt trip us. Guilty pleasure.
What is your most embarrassing guilty pleasure?
I love window shopping at those really fancy stores that only rich people shop at. Like Walmart, I go and I look and I think, oh, if I was wealthy, I could have that and that and that. It would be so glamorous if I could really afford to buy things there, but, who can?
All right. Yoda, you're up. 3 questions remaining here for Claire. St. Clair. With the good accent. Lie, Walmart doesn't have window shopping. She's calling her out. She's calling her out. When that's very true. What would you do with the money? Good one.
What would you do with the money?
I would hire a private investigator to help me find my daughter Mallory. We got separated on a fishing trip quite a few years ago now, and I spent all my time and my resources finding her, going from city to city, but she's always moved on. So, yeah, a private investigator could be life-changing for me.
I just don't believe it. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it at all. Yeah, don't understand it. Boo, it is your turn again. Last 2 questions remaining. Yeah, she said Walmart. Yep, no Walmart outside of the USA. Yeah, she did say Walmart. So, I'm not sure. She doesn't sound like she's from the United States either. I do think she's lying. Pet peeve.
What is your most unusual pet peeve?
Unusual pet peeve. Well, I tell you, there's a phrase that people overuse all the time, and it really does my head in, because people say lightning never strikes twice. Well, I can tell you it does. It struck me 4 times, so that phrase is total nonsense. It's a bum steer.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard anybody in the United States say it's a bum steer. I am going to ask the last question. She didn't say she lived here. That's very true. She's traveling to find her daughter, or so she says. She sounds like she's from Ireland or Scotland. That's very true. She didn't say she lived here, and she did say she was traveling to find her daughter. So, yeah, I will ask her this last question. And let's see. I don't know. Let's go with her childhood dream.
What was your childhood dream?
Oh, I totally remember my childhood dream. It's magical. I mean, we didn't have any money to afford a TV set, but my neighbours did, and we could see it. If you just, peered out the window a certain way, we could see across into their living room, and they would always watch game shows. And all I wanted was to be a winner on one of those game shows, and just, oh my goodness, that was it for me.
That's the end of this round. We'll soon find out who will be going home after this message from our sponsor.
Yeah, she didn't say how old her daughter was.
Today's
Very curious,
episode is
though.
Brought to you by the letter K.
The letter K. Today's show is brought to you by the letter K. All right, everybody. Give me your top 2 in order. Number 1 and number 2, who you think should be voted off. Sam, Autumn, or Claire. Motive to win a game show at any cost. Yeah, that is a motive. They can be lying. This is tough to pick the top 2 you think that are lying. This is a tough one. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to have a hard time selecting 2. I have 1, but I'm not sure. All right, I've got my 1 and 2. If under the age of 18, I'm pretty sure she's not in the U.S. Yeah, she's probably not. Yeah, but we are letting the voting come in. I can't decide. It was a toss up. My number 1 and 2 was just a toss up. Just a toss up. Autumn, she was caught, and Cy, Claire, and Autumn. Ooh, 2 first place votes for Claire, 2 first place votes for Autumn. Wow. That is really tough. So we are at a tie. Fine. Not all redheads, just her. Okay, so we're at a tie. It's either going to be Claire or Autumn. That is such a tough one. We have to decide on either two, and we don't have anybody to break the tie, do we? Let's see. Autumn. Claire. Autumn lied. Yeah. Claire has 3? Does she have 3? Am I missing? Am I looking at this wrong? See, we got 1 for Autumn as 1 place, 2 for Autumn. Then you did Claire and Claire. It looks like Claire has 3. Well, but she has 2nd place vote. So it looks like we voted Autumn once, twice. Claire's number 1 on 2 people's list. Yeah, and then Autumn is number 1 on 2 people's list as well. Number 1 on Boo's list and number 1 on Yoda's list. So both got number 1. So we've got to decide, everybody. We have to decide either Autumn or Claire is going home. You guys are going to let a liar stay. The name of the game is truth. Very true. Very true, Yoda. I like your point. So I guess since I have to be the deciding factor, you guys, Yoda is right. We do have to decide on one, and Autumn got caught. I don't think it's fair that the host called Autumn out like that, because I do feel like he's letting it slide with everybody else. So not cool at all, but we are going to go by the name of the game, and we're going to say goodbye to Autumn. Autumn lied, so bye-bye, Autumn. Wait. She said wait. All right, I'm gonna give you one last chance to sway the judge's opinion here. She said changed it to Chris. She did. That is very true. She did change it. She did change it, and she gave a truthful answer. Oh, that is so tough. That is very true. She did change her answer and tell the truth afterwards. So she did tell the truth after getting called out, though. She got called out first. That was the biggest thing. Is she should have told the truth from the jump. She did not. So I hate to say it, we are still going to send her home. Bye-bye, Autumn. See you next spring.
The votes are in. The audience has voted to send home Autumn.
It's probably for the best I didn't win. Lots of money rarely leads to happiness.
Autumn is not the liar.
For our final.
You're probably right. I absolutely think that too. I really do. I honestly, I'm going to keep my opinions to myself. But we did let Claire go into the next round. And I'll tell you what, we're going to start this one off with Sam. And we are going to have Chrysalyn start us off. Chrysalyn, what do you want to ask Sam? We only have 5 questions remaining for both people. So let's start with Sam, and we'll get your question. Yeah, I have a feeling you're right, though. I don't think she's the liar. You're probably right. I do feel like it's going to be the person we least expected, and that we've been tricked the whole time. Now I'm having remorse now. I'm feeling bad for voting off Autumn. Why did I do that? Now I want to bring her back and say that we made a mistake. All right, Chrysalyn, it is on to you. And I wish I had Autumn's phone number. I'd call her back onto the show. Probably made a mistake. 10 questions. That is all that remain. And it's easy, though. Now we're down to 5 and 5, so not a lot of questions to ask. 867-5309. Oh, unpopular opinion, duh. You put that in there, and I'm just overlooking it. Yoda got me with the phone number.
Most controversial or unpopular opinion?
Well, my most controversial slash unpopular opinion. A lot of people say that it's pretty bogus that Superman just puts on a pair of glasses and he becomes Clark Kent and no one knows who he is. No one can recognize him. I actually think that checks out. See, I've thought about this a lot. Now, if there's this hero and then you see someone who's kind of your normal neighbor, you wouldn't associate that. Like, your mind wouldn't go there. So, like, here's an example. Let's say you have a neighbor who looks exactly like Barack Obama, but his hair's a little different, and he wears glasses, and he's got a normal job. Let's say he works at a gas station, and you wouldn't say, my neighbor, James, who works at the gas station, has glasses, is ex-president of the United States, Barack Obama. You'd say, oh, that guy kind of looks like Barack Obama, but it's not Barack Obama. Same thing. You wouldn't say, oh, Clark, who, like, is a cub reporter for the Daily Planet, he can't be Superman. He's a bumbling goof. He slightly looks like Superman. Remember, Clark is like uncoordinated. Clark is like, you know, bad at life. Superman is the best. So, like, you would not make that leap. I think it would totally work. Unpopular opinion, and I stand by it.
Wow, this guy just told us a whole story answer. Very true. I think we made a mistake. Should have voted this guy off a while back. Boo, it is your turn. Should have voted. Yeah, we made a mistake. Chrislyn, you're probably right. We should have voted Sam off, actually, now that I'm thinking back on it. This guy's a talker. Cheated on anyone.
Have you ever cheated on anyone?
No. And I don't think I ever would. Not even if I had the chance. Although I did cheat on a math test once in junior high. And I couldn't live with myself afterwards, so I wouldn't even cheat on the test again.
He knows what a cub reporter is, though. Young or inexperienced newspaper reporter who joined the paper as a cub reporter in 1917. Interesting. Yoda, I think it is your turn. This guy's giving us some long answers. He definitely wants us to know. Yeah. He's giving us some really, really long answers. Biggest regret.
What is your biggest regret?
My biggest regret. Okay. Years ago, I used to work at a video store. Back in the day and age where they actually had video stores, where you didn't have everything at your fingertips streaming. And I worked with this girl named Rebecca, and we got along so good. We were jokey, we had banter, but the thing I was oblivious to at the time was that she was flirting with me. Like, she was into me. And the crazy thing is, I had a crush on her, but I was in the dark to her feelings about me, but now, years later, I can think back. I'm like, oh yeah, she was totally flirting with me. She, like, how did I miss that? Nothing happened, and that is a major regret. I might take that one to my grave.
Yeah, that's true. He did cheat on a math test and said he couldn't live with himself. Very true. He does appear to be lying. So, Chrysalin, you're next. You're up. Last two questions for this guy here. And it's not very hard, as we only have two left anyway. He's taking a lot of things to his grave. Yeah, he is. He's taking everything to the grave, apparently. What was he like as a child? All right.
What were you like as a
No
child?
worries, Boo.
As a child, I was always watching cartoons after school, Saturday morning, whenever I could, and playing video games. Lots and lots of video games. And I gotta say that a lot of my friends today are people who I've met playing online video games. So I guess I haven't changed too much.
Well, all right. And the last question for you. What was your childhood dream?
What was your childhood dream?
You know, my childhood dream was always to be the first or youngest person to accomplish something. Like, I would have loved to have been the youngest person ever to graduate from MIT, or the youngest person ever to travel to space. But as you grow old, you start to lose that dream, because when you're 9 years old and you publish an article in a physics journal, that's amazing. When you're 35 years old and you do it, you're just a nerd.
Well, all right then. Let's move on to Claire. And it looks like Yoda, you are up. 5 questions remaining. Broken law.
What's the most serious law you've ever broken?
International piracy law. When I was lost at sea one time, I thought all was lost. But a pirate ship came by and actually rescued me. Now, you've heard bad things about pirates, and so had I, but they could not have been nicer. They gave me a job to do on ships so that I could earn my keep when I was there, and everything was going great until they got superstitious. They are superstitious, so they thought for some reason it might be bad luck that I was on board with them. So they were just about to drop me off when we got raided by a Russian Navy ship who put us all in a Russian jail for 5 years for piracy.
Yeah, how have we let her go to the finals? How have we allowed this lady here to go to the finals? I cannot believe it. We have asked the wrong questions. Chrysalin, it is your turn. We've asked the wrong questions. She should not be in the finals. We've made a huge mistake. I do not believe that she is truthful about any of this stuff. This is some of the wildest stuff. Yeah, she's the liar. She's come up with some of the craziest stories that I've ever heard. I just can't believe it. Yeah, well, we somehow have been tricked and allowed her to be voted into the finals. How? I don't know. I feel embarrassed. And I feel like my judgment is horribly off and wrong. Embarrassing memory, I'm sorry.
What is your most embarrassing memory?
Oh gosh, there's been quite a few things in my life that are embarrassing, but you know those people on trains that go around checking everyone's tickets that they've got the right tickets? Well, it was my high school reunion and I pretended that I was one of those people, that was my job, so that everyone would think I was really successful. But then it turned out in the group there was somebody who was a real ticket checker, and they told everyone that I wasn't. They didn't, like, I didn't have that job. They knew I didn't, like, they never saw me at work. It was so embarrassing. It really dropped me in it.
I have no clue what she was trying to say. You told me the redheads lie. At least, okay, her. Yeah, at least her. At least her, right? I can't believe that. Yoda, it is your turn. We have 3 questions remaining. Which one of the 3 would you like to ask her? As we're going to wind up asking her all the questions anyways. Back with food. Welcome back. I bet that smells so good. What is your biggest fear?
What is your biggest fear?
Oof. My biggest fear is flying. And it's always been my biggest fear, even when I was a little girl. I was petrified of flying. And so my parents got me an emotional support dog called Mr. Fluffers. And they told me that as long as I had Mr. Fluffers with me when I was flying, everything would be all right. So off I went on my first plane trip with Mr. Fluffers, and I knew everything was going to be all right. Even when the plane crashed into the mountains, I still knew everything was going to be all right because I had Mr. Fluffers. Unfortunately, it was about 3 weeks that we had before the search and rescue team found me and other survivors. 3 weeks without food. So, I suppose, you know, we wouldn't have been all right if Mr. Fluffers hadn't been there initially.
Yep, and now we have forgot about her daughter. You two are right. Spot on. She didn't mention her daughter at all. She is, oh goodness. She is telling a fib. And one of the last 2 questions there, let's have Boo. Boo, you want to ask one of the last 2 questions here? What's your happiest memory or what's your proudest accomplishment? We want to hear some of her crazy stories. I can't believe it. She lied and got our sympathy and used it all the way to get to the finals. So, yeah, I've never had kids either, and even I know that, right? I can't believe that. So, 1 or 2 questions here. Proudest accomplishment. See, let's hear about these lies.
What is your proudest accomplishment?
I was a world record holder.
Lies.
I was the last known person to contract smallpox for a week. Somebody else did get it after me. I don't know their name. I mean, I don't really remember the week because I did have a terrible fever and
She needs to write a book.
itchy rash. But
Agreed.
they say everyone gets their 15 minutes of fame, and that was mine.
She ain't there at all. Y'all remember Sylvester and Tweety? Every time Sylvester got hit in the head and he had them stars around his head and them knots, and he couldn't walk straight and he was seeing stuff. That's her. So the last question is, what's your happiest memory? I'll go ahead and ask her that one.
What's your happiest memory?
That's a no-brainer. My happiest memory is the day my beautiful daughter Mallory was born. I had her in the hospital and everything. I mean, I was already in the hospital because I'd been bitten by a raccoon. And I suppose it would have been easier if I'd had a doctor present, but I got stuck in an elevator on the way to the maternity floor. There I was, with the raccoon I brought with me to get tested for the rabies. It got loose and I had to fend that off for a while. Even so, out Mallory came and life was perfect.
That's the end of this round. We'll soon find out who will be going home after this message from our sponsor.
Today sponsored by Liar.
Today's episode is brought to you by Vegas Tales, the full-motion video game from the makers of Truth. A wealthy resort owner is dying and needs you to help decide who should inherit his estate. You'll be interviewing some over-the-top characters and helping choose who will become extremely wealthy. Be careful, as there may be more to some than meets the eye. Vegas Tales is available now on your favorite gaming platform. Now it's time for the audience to vote. Please enter the selection of the contestant
Well,
you think.
you called her out. So wait, oh my gosh, the last known person to contract smallpox naturally was Ali Malayan, a hospital cook in Somalia, was infected in 1977. Yep. I'm telling you, she is lying. It is time, everybody. We are going to vote. Well, I mean, somebody's already cast their vote. We're going to vote on one person. Who are we sending home today? One person only. And this might be a hard vote. It might not. For me, it's a pretty much a no-brainer. But one person, everybody. You got one vote, not two. One vote. Lock in your top person who's going home today. I can't believe it. How did we ever allow? Claire's got 3. She might sweep them all. She might sweep all the votes. Yoda is over there contemplating. I don't want to play anymore. I don't like this game. Yoda's over there contemplating her choices on who she's voting for. Come on, you gotta vote for somebody. Want to see if Claire is going to take the sweep or if Sam gets the vote. I can't believe we fell for that. I cannot believe it. Yeah, I can't believe it. So it looks like in a 3-0 decision that we are going to be sending Claire home. Very, very sad. It doesn't matter. I'm outvoted. Well, I mean, here's the thing. You know, it does. You're right. It doesn't matter. You are outvoted. But I think she's lying. You think Autumn was the truthful one? I think so too. Now, after seeing all this, I do think she's the one lying, and I think Autumn was the truth. But let's send Claire home. She lost. I can't believe we allowed her to get this far.
The votes are in. The $1 million prize is going to Sam.
For real? Wow. I cannot believe this. I'm not usually the winner when it comes to stuff like this. I've never done stuff like this, but this is amazing. I can't wait to start working on my film.
It looks like Sam used the prize money to produce his movie. It was panned by many critics and performed poorly at the box office, thanks largely to Sam's unique writing style. It eventually became a sleeper hit as it got found by audiences who appreciate Sam's odd sense of humor and unusual take on drama. It is now considered a cult classic among fans who know how to appreciate a really good, bad movie. And then it looks like we do have the cast. I'm not sure if we do have anything after that. So what I am going to do is I am going to look up all the endings for the game Truth and to find out who was truly the liar. And then let everybody know what the results were. No, that was quick. Wow, there was not many credits at all. So let's see if we can't find the actual endings. I don't know. I should have looked these up beforehand, but let's see if we can find one for the endings here. Because there's not really much. It would be interesting to know if they tell it. Yeah, very true. As a lot of this game is really under the radar. You know, it wasn't very popular. It did get a 5 rating overall, which tells you that people didn't think highly of it. And I don't think it sold rather well. I did purchase it, and it was rather cheap. It was on sale, so all the endings for Truth. But I do want to see who was lying and who wasn't. I'd be very curious to find out. So I'm going to search to see if I can find those. I cannot. It does not show me any answers at all. I don't know. Let me look and see if this is correct. See if there's any answers to it. There's not. So I'm going to have to look it up. I'm going to have to do a little bit of research to find out if I can't get us a good answer. But definitely tricked. I feel like Clara was lying. I feel like Autumn might have been the only one telling the truth. And then again, we might be wrong. So put your Google magic to work. Yeah, Chrysalin, if you can come up with some answers to the endings for this game and what those were, that'd be awesome to let us know. But I appreciate you all jumping in here to play along. Let me know what you thought about it. If you liked it, if it was a so-so, if you didn't like it at all. It did take us a little longer than the 90 minutes that it advertised, and I think it's just because of the questions. And then Sam was really long-winded. He gave us long answers. I feel like Sam really drug it on and on and on. Everybody else had a quick answer, but Sam wanted to give us an entire spiel every time he talked. So it did drag on, I think, because of him. But I enjoyed it. And I'm very curious if you guys liked it. We can also do the Vegas Tales that was in the advertisement on here, as that one is an interactive game like this. And I think it is one of those that you picked. Claire, who was played by Ruth Connell, is a Scottish actress and producer. Huh, very interesting. That's really, really cool fact. Well, at least we know who she was in real life. We don't know who she was trying to be for us. We don't know who she was trying to pretend to be. But it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. There are a lot more like this that are not as much movie-like, and there are some more that they're more like questionnaires, and you have to actually ask the questions up front. So we might actually try to do a couple more of those before we switch back into movie mode, but there's a lot. Yeah, if you can go through and find out some answers, I'm also going to Google a little bit and see if I can't come up with something to let us know who the true liar was and if we played a pretty decent ending. But I appreciate you all joining in, as we did run a little long on this, but it was a lot of fun. Lots and lots of fun. And if you guys have any suggestions for the next one, Google them, let me know, and we will definitely have another movie night next week. We're probably going to do the same thing next Friday, same time. I think this is a good time to do it. And if you guys have suggestions, send them to me, and we'll do it, and I will let you sponsor the movie night. But yeah, I'm glad you all joined in. Have a great weekend, everybody, and a great rest of your night. And I will see you on Monday of Hypermarket. So good night, everybody.